back. MMA Gems. Me and Hot Hand today. No, Mo and Uncle will no longer be with us, but we had a solid card for UFC 325. Volk got the belt. Held the belt, I guess. And a bunch of other exciting fights. But we're back to the fucking warehouse, which is the UFC Apex, and there's not much else to say besides that. We're gonna get this fight. We're gonna get the week started with girls fight. Didn't have any last week. Now Priscilla Cachoeira taking on Claudia Sygulla. Sygulla, I know I personally sniped her at dog money in her last fight in her debut. Um, is really crisp striking. She doesn't have a lot of experience, but she gets it done on the feet, and she does have some um jujitsu too. But Priscilla, you already know the game with her, zombie girl. She's gonna eat shots, and she's always live for a finish, and she's having like had a slight rejuvenation of her career, even with losses. She's still decent, but as you see on the screen, 37 and 27, and obviously if you're noticing, no graphics. Didn't have a chance to finish them, so we're just rocking with Tapology. But 10-year age difference here, which is going to be huge. And that 4 inch reach advantage, considering Claudia Sygulla has crisp striking and she comes in and out of range well. Um, I'm going to have to rock with Claudia Sygulla here, most likely by decision. I think if anyone gets, most likely by decision in my opinion, but I could see her getting a finish. And if Priscilla gets a finish, it'd probably be by knockout. I was looking at that alternate method knockout from Priscilla and then Claudia by decision, but that shit was like minus 200 on DraftKings, so nothing really to rock with there. Claudia Sygulla money line is still a decent number at minus 140 ish, if you can get it there. But first fight, women's fight, live play, but I kind of like Claudia Sygulla in this fight, 10 years younger with the better striking. How do you feel, Hot Hand?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest takeaways here is the age difference here with the Polish fighter holding the advantage. 10 years is a huge deal, especially in mixed martial arts, and we just seen Priscilla get finished her last fight, so maybe the wear and tear and the damage is starting to come on a little later, and we'll see her getting finished more often. But from what I've seen, she usually struggles against more of grapplers, and she more times often gets subbed. But I think as long as the fight is standing, there's still a chance, considering the power that she holds for a woman fighter. But I think Segul, being the younger fighter, I think she's going to be too fast in this spot. I think she, like you said, is going to be able to get in and out. But with this fight being in the apex, I could see Priscilla backing her up against the cage, landing big blows, and even putting her out. But my official prediction will be Segula money line. I think that she'll win a close bout, and I think she'll win a decision. But I think as long as she doesn't get knocked out, she'll coast to a decision victory here.
Yeah, and if you're looking for betting purposes, over 2.5 rounds at minus 120 isn't terrible. Minus 120 there for a women's fight to go over. I know Zombie Girl's prone to wild clashes, but Claudia Segula is a smooth criminal on the feet, so you can take your chances there if you don't want to play a money line. But I'm sticking with Claudia here. Um, and we'll move on to the next bout. And this is that like this card has some really sneaky bouts with contested fights that like with some guys that have names. We have Gafurov, who uh we're very familiar with here. We covered him multiple times. Against Jacob Vcats or whatever. And obviously Jacob had that close split decision victory against Patrick Mix, who is now in Ryzen. Absurd to say. But that the fight was extremely close, and I personally had Patchy Mix for the win. Was on my live cards, but too close to call. And Jakob Vikat is just a known champion, fighting out of Octagon. Bunch of 5 round wins. He has the cardio, he has the striking, he has the grappling and the jiu-jitsu. Wing Gafurov, as we know, has power and he has a sturdy wrestling base coming out of, I believe, Tajikistan. Obviously, nickname is Tajik, but the grappling is there. The striking's a bit loopy, like looping, not as technical as you'd want, but he does have the power to land. And VCAT has been finished before, so that's something to watch out for. I see a lot of people on Marine in this spot. He's a slight favorite I've seen on a book. Right here says about even, but I saw minus 135 on DraftKings a few minutes ago. And in front of me right now, it's minus 135. I like the value on VCATs at plus 114. I could see either one of these guys taking this win. And I do kind of like the over 2.5 here, considering VCAS has been in a lot of 5 rounders and lasted versus Patrick, and I think this is going to possibly be a grappling match. And Ween has been subbed before, and he makes mistakes, so I can see Jacob at plus money taking advantage here. I'm going to take the former champ from Octagon to get a close decision victory here, but it's not something that I would throw the bank at. Hot hand, what do you have?
Yeah, I think Gafurov here is going to have a clear striking advantage personally, and I think Wiklacz will have the grappling advantage. We haven't seen much of experience from him besides Patchy Mix, but we all seen that Patchy's a fraud and doesn't even belong in the UFC here. But I like Gafurov here. I think he's going to be able to work in the striking to set up takedowns if needed. But I think this fight will be on the feet. I think he's just going to have the striking advantage. And with that being said, I am scared about once again it being in the arena and Wiklacz will be able to close distance more easily if he will. His path is going to be to grapple to a victory. So with that being said, kind of be wary of betting this fight. I don't think anyone should put money on this because I could see Gafurov putting on a striking clinic, or I could see him getting subbed here. So I think Gafurov should win, but I wouldn't bet it.
Yep. I didn't even really notice a 4.5 inch reach advantage here for VCATs. This is one of those fights that are going to be close, and I can't really blame you if you have either one when you're like discussing it. But we'll keep this one pushing as we're going to take a look at Kong Wang taking on Eduardo Moura. Um, this is another decent women's fight. Both only have one loss in their resume, and both are well-rounded fighters who are like I believe have a future going up in this class. But I have to take Kong Wang here. I think she has the better striking and grappling wise. She's not official. She's been subbed before, and we've seen it, especially all those lost money because of Kong Wang. But I do think some of the odds are wide. On here it says minus 25, moderate favorite, but I'm seeing minus threes on multiple books, so I'm not going to be able to touch minus 300 and stuff like that. I do think she wins the decision. Ramora could definitely have moments in this fight, and we've seen Kong Wang sell before, so caution in the win, but I'm going to have to take Kong Wang by decision. Just think she's going to be too much overall for Mora, and it's another close fight. I think it's closer than the line suggests, and I wouldn't hate a spread on Mora, but at the same time, Kong Wang could get it done. I'm looking at the overs and unders, and like a fight to go the distance prop maybe would be something that I'm interested in. I'm gonna take a look right now. Uh, fight to go the distance, yes, around minus 125 on FanDuel. Like I can't hate that line for a women's fight again. We're having decent lines for overs. Uh, but I'm siding with Kong Wang via points for my prediction. How you feeling?
Yeah, I think Mora is a lot more live than what the lines are saying here. I don't think she should be plus 300. And I think she's going to have a grappling edge if she could get Kong Wang down. I think Mora is going to be physically stronger than her as well. So once again, with it being in not in the bigger cage, I think the grappler is going to have the advantage here. And I like that sub only money line play. Mora, I think it was plus 110 or plus 130. Mora was at here, and I don't see Kong Wang subbing whatsoever. I think if she gets the finish, it's going to be standing. So more a sub only money line. Then if it don't hit, it voids. But I think Moura is a lot more live than what the books are saying. I see a path of if she just trained the wrestling and learned how to take advantage and just rack up the ground control time, I could see her easily out grappling Kong Wang to a decision win. I do want to look at takedown lines as well for Moura once they drop. Between her last two fights, she had 5 takedowns, two in her last three, and the one before that. So I think Moura with a solid wrestling game plan could come in here and pull off an upset victory. So give me Mora, give me her sub only money line, and possibly take down props once the lines drop.
Yeah, I was looking at Eduardo Mora plus 7.5 minus 145. Very
Yeah, that's
manageable,
beautiful.
very manageable play there. I think. Uh, like you said, the takedown line might be worthwhile too because we've seen her get some takedowns back in the past. Like you said the stats, and she's held top position against a lot of girls. Wang Wang is a little smaller framed, I think. So I guess we'll see. But not to stay too much on another women's fight, but we're gonna move on. This is a replacement fight, so I'm not gonna be able to really talk much because I haven't seen much on Yanni Vasquez. Have you seen much on it?
No, I haven't. I didn't even know that this was the
Yeah, I
replacement.
just found out like at literally like 20 minutes before we went on or whatever in chat, but uh I was gonna take Saeed against Javid, but I guess we're gonna have to discuss that more in like the gem chat. Or so hop in the Discord and we'll chat more about this fight. We're gonna keep moving though. Another girl fight, Ketlin Souza taking on Bruna Brazil. Another close women's fight, line wise. Gonna be a lot of contested bouts, I think, with the women's, and I like. It's tough to trust Ketlin Souza because she does a lot of stupid shit on the feet, and she gasses. Like her tank is very questionable, and Bruno Brazil's gonna be there with grappling pressure. Bruno Brazil's last fight was on Road to UFC. Um, she got a decision victory, but besides that, what she Road to UFC fighter and like Molly McCann, I think are her last two wins. Like I don't really think I can respect her all that much. And Ketlin Souza has fought decent competition, and she does have power on the feet. She's physically strong. Uh, but this is not a fight that I'm reaching for the counter. I'm gonna take Ketlin Souza. Um, looking at like I think decision obviously. That's how she's lost. She's lost split decisions back to back, and it's gonna be a decision fight. Let me see the prop. Let's see right now. Decision. Fight to be won by split or majority decision. You're getting that plus 275. I think that's like a .25 unit little sprinkle. Because I think this fight could go that type of bullshit. But I got Ketlin Sousa by decision. But that's very well changeable if I see anything on scales. But like, that's what I'm going with right now. What are you rocking with?
Yeah, I think I like Sousa as well. I think as long as she keeps this fight standing, she's going to be landing the bigger strikes. But like you said, she has the cardio issues and is known for slowing down. But with two back-to-back split decision losses, I think she's going to learn. I think she's going to come out looking very crisp. I hate using the word, but I think she's due. When you see these fighters that are respected and they go on two fight losing streaks, I feel like they're due. And I think she's one of these fighters that are due for a win here. Her last two losses were to Angela Hill, and I forget who her last one was. I think it was that Venezuelan.
Ah, hold up.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, Rodriguez,
oh yeah,
Pierre
Pierre.
Rodriguez, out
Yep,
of
yeah,
Extreme
Pierre
Tour.
Rodriguez. Yep, and that was a split decision.
Yep, exactly. So, like I said, I think Sousa's going to perform well here, and I think she's going to be due for a win. And I don't hold Bruna Brazil to a high standard. I think she's pretty low level. So give me Souza. I think she's going to be landing the bigger strikes, and I think she'll get a victory here.
Yeah, we won't stay too long on this fight, but wait, it says Kellen Sousa's a plus money play, but I'm seeing it on DraftKings as like minus 150. So whatever
She
this is
opened that
saying,
plus money.
yeah. So this is a bit behind, so don't trust the Tapology screen. She is the favorite now, so we'll keep it moving though. And we got another odd fight, but two old heads, 36 years old. We got Nikolai Veretennikov taking on Nico Price. Both shaky fighters, in my opinion. Like, they're going to bring shit, and, like, it's not overly impressive, but they can get shit done. Veretennikov coming off of, after the first, like, he got fucked up by Punhali Soriano. And then Nico Price has been a punching bag for, a little bit now. But this fight is like one that I don't really like on the card. Uh, Two unreliable fighters. I know Nico Price is gonna bring the tempo, but Veretennikov has proven in his UFC stint that he is durable as fuck. Like he's gonna be there. And is this fight still on? This Veretennikov fight. I'm not seeing lines
You,
for it.
I haven't seen that it was off or nothing.
Let me see if I see the lines for it. Oh, I have them. Never mind. Veretennikov at minus 280 though is a bit wide. I'm not really seeing how they came to that line, really. Like I guess Nico Price has just been decaying so much. He might come in that bitch with double knee braces. So like I don't know. I'm gonna take Veretennikov, but minus 280. I'm not coughing that up. And for some reason, DraftKings doesn't have it. Um. Oh no, I see it right now. But there's no props out for it. Just the money line that I'm seeing on FanDuel is minus 280, DraftKings minus 305 on Veretennikov. Uh, he'll probably win. I'm gonna take him by knockout probably because his boxing is pretty crisp, and I can't really see Nico Price going 3 rounds without getting disintegrated in 2026. Nico Price, but I would not advise you to lay him like minus 300 on Veretennikov. I think the value in just a blind pick would be on Nico Price, but betting on Nico Price in 2026 is if this line gets more steamed, then if it gets to like plus 400, then maybe we can start talking. But how you feeling about this?
Yeah, I mean, I think Veretennikov wins this fight, but like you said, the lines are fucking chopped. And if Nico Price wins the fight, it's not because if Nico's like a good bet. I just think it's because of how fucking bad Veretennikov could be at times. Like he was beating that Francisco Prado, and he kept throwing those fucking spinning body kicks, giving his back and getting taken down. And he literally did it probably 6 times during the fight. So his IQ fucking too low for me to bet on ever again. But I do think Veretennikov is due for a win. I think Nico is pretty fucking shit. The fight between him and Alex Moreno was probably the worst display of MMA I've ever seen in my life. So I won't bet on him. And at minus 300, I can't take Veretennikov because of what I've seen before. But I think Veretennikov should win this fight.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling on this too. But we'll keep pushing on this one. And we go to this is probably the most juiced fight on the card, is it? It is.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you got Donchenko. I think he has a clear striking edge. Alex Morono is on his way out. He is formidable sometimes, and I think he might be able to last a round. I was looking at uh, I think that the only value in this fight would to try to be. Oh yeah, this is what I have for this. It's a same game parlay on DraftKings, and it's right here. Let me get it. It's method of victory knockout. And, oh yeah, method of victory knockout. Danilo Donchenko. You don't even have to take Danilo. Like it's the same shit pretty much. Method of victory knockout and over a half round is minus 120. Uh, I think they can last two. I think Morono can last 2.5 minutes, but that's just playing the cards right there. It's like I think Morono is pretty tough, but he's probably gonna get evaporated. we're being realistic here. 11-year age difference. Donchenko, pretty legit on the feet, has all the momentum behind him, and I'm always going to take a guy who's a decade younger, unless the older guy is actually good. And I think Alex Morono's PFL level, so give me Donchenko by knockout round two probably or late round one. But I gave you the prop already. How do you feel though?
Yeah, the odds I could puke on considering how new Donchenko is, but the odds are definitely just based off Moreno's fighting ability and how much he sucks. I don't think Moreno deserves to be in the spot here. I think it's just like a stepping stone fight for Donchenko, but like with the odds being that high, I mean, I could see him knocking him out or subbing him. I think he's going to have the advantage in both. I think he's going to come out looking to prove a statement. And we've seen Alex Moreno fade, especially in higher paced fights and when he's taking big shots. So give me Donchenko by finish. I just can't say which one it's going to be because he's very well rounded.
Yeah, we'll just keep it pushing from that juiced fight. This fight's pretty interesting. Justin Jacoby's taking us on short notice in place of Uran Saudi Waldiev. Uh, but Julius Walker, I haven't been too impressed by him. I remember he sold. Well, he didn't sell me. It was an automatic fade against him for his debut against Alonzo Menefield. Even though it was a manageable fight for him, he lost. Um, and then he won against Rafael Cachoeira, but they ended up going to the decision. And Cachoeira's a guy who's been getting absolutely bomb squatted in the first fucking 1 microsecond of a fucking fight. So I can't really ride with Julius Walker. But this fight, it's just for me the age difference. You know what I mean? But Dustin Jacoby is very solid. You know his background, former kickboxing guy, and has a lot of success and a lot of fights in the UFC. And he's proved it. And even in his last fight, proved that he's still around. Taking this on short notice, I haven't seen enough from Julius Walker to come out and say that I think he's capable of like coming out here and dogging Dustin Jacoby out. But keep an eye on that 11-year age difference. Fighters that are this young could come up and make strides fast. I don't think this shit goes to distance though. I think one of these guys is gonna end up getting knocked the fuck out. Like, yeah, Julius Walker has gone to decisions, his last two or whatever, but like before that, he was not doing this. And I think this stylistically, these guys are gonna be throwing bombs, and I think one of them might go out. So I'm looking at an under here, under 2.5, -125, and then fight not to go the distance on FanDuel is -150. I don't hate that at all. And I think there's value on Julius Walker in this one, but I'm not gonna say that he's gonna win. I'm gonna take Justin Jacoby by knockout or maybe a close decision. But betting wise, I think I like that. I like the fight not to go the distance. I think that one of these guys are getting slept. How do you feel though?
Yeah, at first I was on Dustin Jacoby pretty heavily, but the more I sat and did tape and looked at it, I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on betting it. I just don't like Dustin Jacoby at -180. And like you said, I think it's 11 age year. Yeah, 11 years. Walker is younger than Jacoby, and time again, we've seen the younger guy have the advantages. But like you said, he's fought in the Brazilian and then Alonzo Menefield, and neither of them have no volume to their name, and it was both terrible performances. So once again, it makes me want to go back and take Dustin Jacoby, but I just don't like him at that odds. I just can't rely on putting money on Dustin Jacoby personally,
And on short
especially
notice.
yeah, and short notice. And I could see a game plan where Julius Walker grapples Dustin Jacoby to a win. So, like I said, I think if Julius Walker comes out with the right game plan, he could upset a lot of people here. But if I had to pick, I would pick Dustin Jacoby to win before I pick Julius Walker.
Yeah. Uh What what you said Dustin Jacoby to win, but what do you think he's gonna win by decision?
No, I think it's a knockout. I think he'll catch Walker before 15 minutes, 100%. And Jacoby's known for putting people down. He has very powerful shots, so I think he's going to try and get the new dude out of here quickly. Or if he doesn't, I think he's going to fade out. Like you said, he's short notice. So how much work did he put in up into this point where he got off the couch? So I
Yeah.
do like under though for sure.
All right, let's keep it moving. We got the other Basharat brother, the good one, Farid Basharat taking on Gene Matsumoto. Another fight where I think the line's kind of wide, but when I think back at it, Farid really can wrestle. Matsumoto can. Farid's like kind of boring though on the ground. I could see him getting some very good success, and I want to take a look at his takedown prop, but not out yet. It's gonna be high. I can feel it now. It's gonna be like 3.5. Because his last one was high as fuck against Chris Gutierrez. Um, I like Farid here, like slightly. I think it's gonna be a boring fight. I think there's value on Matsumoto's line, like odds wise, because over plus 200, and he's a very good young guy coming up. But he had a very competitive fight where he arguably won against Rob Font. If he can stuff the takedowns, he has an insanely high chance of getting a win in this fight because I think he has a advantage on the feet somewhat. And yeah, Dean Matsumoto is just he's not someone that I think is going to be plus 200 against Farid, but I think Farid wins a boring decision and gets is able to take him down enough to win. But I think looking at Gene Matsumoto like plus 7.5, uh, his line is I kind of got nuked. Minus 270, so it's showing that the thing is going the distance. Over 2.5, minus 500. So a blind under is pretty. Like, I don't even give a fuck about research. You're like under 2.5 is plus 340 on DraftKings. That's probably better on FanDuel. That's already like, that's a crazy line. But give me Farid by decision. But I would not be surprised if G Matsumoto makes this competitive. But I think Basharat's grappling is too tough, especially when he's on top. Uh, how do you feel?
Yeah, I think Masamudo, if he wants to win this fight, he's gonna have to disrupt the jab of Basharat and not let it get going. Because once he gets it going, that thing's like a fucking laser. And I'm almost positive for he's gonna be the bigger fighter in this. But yeah, he's 2 inches taller, has a 3 inch reach advantage. So I think if he could deny the jabs of Basharat and contest the wrestling, I think he has a very good chance of winning this fight. I think they fucked up these lines pretty badly. But I think Masamudo is very live here, especially if he could be landing the bigger, powerful shot, like the bigger shots. He's going to be packing more power. And I don't know why they put the under odds as that as well, because if I'm not mistaken, they both have pretty high ad now. So Masamudo has 9 finishes out of 17 victories and Farid has 7 finishes out of 14 victories. So I guess they expect it to go to distance. But with that being said, I like Masamudo plus 7.5, like you said, Mike. It's a little juiced, but I think he could very easily win one round. I don't think Basharat is that good. He's going to go out there and just walk all over Masamudo, especially if he's coming off a very contested loss to a very good veteran in Rob Font. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree for sure. We move on, but 17-1 versus 14-0 here. This is a card to watch, or a fight to watch on this card. It's one of those sneaky cards that like there's some names on here if you're an actual UFC fan. Like maybe for the casuals, they might not know who Gene Matsumoto and Farid Basharat is, but you're a UFC fighter or a UFC fan, and you're gonna know these fighters, and you're gonna be excited for this one. And then you have McCall Oleksiejczuk taking on Marc-Andre Barriault. Um, Marc-Andre Barriault blessed me, I know, in his last fight because at Open I got his take that 1+ takedown at plus 500, and then it immediately I think it closed at like minus 115, but he got that immediately. Um, Ended up in a war with a Charbullet, and now is a decently sized dog here against Oleksiejczuk. Oleksiejczuk I'm seeing at like damn near minus 500, which I think is, yes, I can understand it. But Barriault's a tough motherfucker. Uh, I like Oleksiejczuk uh by knockout as like my official prediction, especially 5 years younger. He has extremely good striking. Barriault's gonna try to rush him and try to take him down and put him against the fence, and if he's not gonna be able to consistently do that, he's gonna get knocked the fuck out. Uh, what I was looking at for this one, fight to start round 2, which I could see if Marc-Andre Barriault off the rip just comes up and he's just like trying to put him against the cage, uh, look for takedown. But he could get flatlined in the first round. But I'm looking at that minus 120 round 2 to start. I think there's value there. 5 minutes. I also want to wait until Marc-Andre Barriault takedown line drops because I could see him getting one. But Oleg Zaychuk's been on the rise. I think he gets a first round finish, or not a first round finish, a second round finish, or a second or third round finish in this one. But I think Barriault gets a takedown as well. I'm curious because they're probably gonna drop that line at a similar price of what they had with the other one. Let me see what's out. Oh no, his isn't out. But yeah, I'm gonna take Oleksiejczuk by knockout. What do you got?
Yeah, we've seen Owen Zajac his entire fucking fight career change once he went to the Fighting Nerds because once he transferred gyms, you could tell the transition on his striking. He looked so fluent, so smooth. He was patient, and I forget who his opening fight was, but I remember just watching him being like, "Holy fuck!" All right, that was the change in his career. But with fighting someone like Marc Andre Barriault, he just has fucking power, and one shot could put you out. Or I could see Owen Zajac getting taken down and getting grapple fucked or subbed because we've seen him struggle with that in the past. And we just see Marc Andre shatter Shara's nose his last fight and almost put him out. And I was rocking on Marc Andre KO at plus 900. Now I think Owen Zajac should win this fight, but I'm iffy on paying the chalk on him. I think Marc Andre could easily put him out. So I'm gonna definitely be playing Marc Andre Barriault KO again, just as a little sprinkle. But any big bets on this, I don't like it. I do like round 2 to start as well, though. I think Owen Zajac is very slow, and he waits for the fight to come to him. So unless Marc Andre rushes in and gets clipped, I think this fight will see the second round.
Yeah, we'll keep this one moving. That's an odd fight. I like this fight though. Jailton Almeida against Rizvan Kuniev. You got two guys here that Rizvan got robbed against Curtis Blades, but in some people's opinion, I had Curtis Blades, but on a slightly like it was super close. A lot of people lost money on that, but now you have Jailton Almeida, who is damn near championship level, fighting Rizvan, who is a PFL guy. I could see this being like a boring Rizvan like lay on top type of fight, like how he did with that Brandon Ferreira guy. But I think when they get on the ground, there's gonna be too many scrambles and like exchanges. Like they're not gonna be able to go like the distance in this one. And I wasn't surprised to see the over 1.5 being there. Uh, but I think Johnson and May is gonna end up catching him. I think that yeah, he's Dagestani and shit, but he be training with Uncle Live and like the striking Dagestanis and shit. He don't be training with fucking Islam, and he is a grappler through and through. But, well, not really, but you saw his last fight with Curtis Blades. I don't think he attempted one takedown. I actually had his over half takedown at plus money, like plus 200 in that last fight. That motherfucker did not attempt the one. So if he's gonna try to stay on the feet, he's gonna get taken down by Jailton Almeida, and then Almeida's gonna fucking submit him. I like method of victory submission plus 180, like regardless of fighter. Obviously, Jailton Almeida is gonna be the guy that I am thinking is gonna get the submission, but Rizvan Kuniev, obviously from Dagestan, so I guess you can try to like be a little bit safer with that, even though it's plus money. Let me just take a quick look at the line for just Almeida to get the submission. Almeida submission plus 210, so plus 180 versus plus 210. You're getting similar odds, and you're getting that safety net. That's probably where I'm gonna go at plus 180. And I like Gelatin Almeida money line too if it's reasonable priced. I'm seeing it at like minus 140 something. But I like Almeida here. How do you feel though?
Yeah, I'm mixed on this fight. I mean, what I'm seeing is that Almeida should clearly get this fight to the victory, and he holds easily a way better grappling advantage. But then I also think that Kuniev could do enough on the feet to win. Like we've seen Almeida's last fight with Volkov, he had all the control time in the world, but his striking is so fucking piss poor. He causes no damage. So it's like, is he going to learn from that fight, or is he going to try and do the same thing against Kuniev? And Kuniev does have big, powerful standing shots. So I'm kind of mixed. I do believe Almeida should win this fight if he's smart and does more on the feet to set up the wrestling. But I feel like this is a live bet scenario, especially standing. I could see Kuniev starting off hot, striking, and then Almeida lands one takedown, and then bam, it's wraps. Almeida wins. But I think as long as Almeida gets into a dominant position and doesn't leave Kuniev near the octagon cage, that will allow him to build back up. I don't see Kuniev getting up once if Almeida's on top of him in the center of the octagon. So give me Almeida.
Yeah. Now more than I think about it, Cunha will have the decent sized advantage on the feet. He could really hurt Almeida, but and he's a big boy, so like stuffing takedowns, he might be able to stuff some. But I don't think it's going to the judges. I'm looking at the lines and what you can get value wise. Round three
See,
to
personal,
round three
I
to
think
what?
I think if Kuniev doesn't finish him early, like round one type of shit, Almeida's wrestling is going to gas Kuniev's arm's going to take the pop out of the shots, and I don't see a finish. I think this fight goes to decision before there's a finish, personally,
All right.
because I think Kuniev's like submission defense is going to hold up, but I think we're just going to see him get out wrestled badly by Almeida.
Yeah. Over 1.5 minus 130.
Oh,
Uh,
oh.
I was looking at round two to start, but minus 215 as a parlay piece. But I don't want to take the shot because if Almeida just subs the fuck out of him or there's a knockout, and there's heavyweights, so I'll take Almeida and just let it rock and look for takedown props. But next we're gonna move on to the co-main event. We got Kyoji Horiguchi taking on Amir Albazi. I'm gonna make it pretty quick. I'm taking Horiguchi here all the fucking way. Um, I just I think he has a clear advantage here against Albazi, and they both have a similar game plan. Horiguchi's coming back for this title shot. Um, Albazi's I would I think right now I would take what's it Bagir Ulanbekov over Amir Albazi and that neck surgery or neck injury or whatever. I'm not betting on him again until he proves to me he's actually decent. So I'm taking Kyoji Horiguchi. So he might get a finish, but I'm gonna take him by decision. I'm taking a look at this is one of my favorite plays on the card. I think as of right now, unless something else comes up, Kyoji Horiguchi minus 3.5, minus 120. I think he can get a finish, and I think that he can get a 30-27 on at least one card. So give me Horiguchi by fucking decision. I'll take. But how do you feel?
Yeah, as soon as I seen this fight get dropped, I called this shit out fucking so long ago. I said Horiguchi should not be fighting Amir Albazi. Albazi's career is built on fucking lies. He got that robbery win against Kaikara France that he should have lost. Then the fight before that, I think it was a very lucky knockout over Alessandro Costa. And then we just seen Albazi, and probably one of our biggest lock signals. We gave Moreno over Albazi, and Moreno 50-45 them in Canada very, very easily. I don't think Amir Albazi is good whatsoever. I just think he's good for the UFC to get more Middle Eastern fans in. So I think Horiguchi, though, coming up, we just seen him put dick on Tagir Ulanbekov, and his only loss in the UFC is Mighty Mouse. So I think Horiguchi's a mega, mega, mega lock. And I think his -3.5 is very playable as a straight as well. So
Yeah, we're riding with Horiguchi, and if it's only me and Hot Hand for the collab this week because we haven't been able to talk to Mo Pork. Um, so my pick's gonna be Horiguchi -3.5 before you steal it. But that's what I'm taking, and we're gonna go to the main event here, where we have a decently good fight here. Vinicius Oliveira taking on Mario Bautista. First of all, I I'm worried about Vinicius Oliveira weighing in, so we gotta wait for that before anything. Because I think that he cuts like 50 pounds in his camp to make weight for 135. Like he's gonna be so fucking drained. Now he has to go 5 rounds with Mario Batista. Like I need to see him on the scales and how like that's the first things first. If he's all right, an average guy on the scales, we're talking about a decent fight here. Mario Bautista's been proving people wrong recently. He looked very good against Umar Nurmagomedov at one point, dropping him, hurting him really bad, had him in the submission. Uh, and he ended up taking the loss, but it's fucking Umar Nurmagomedov, so I can't really fault him. Vinicius Oliveira, um, surprised me decently against Saeed. I don't know if it was the last fight, but 2 fights back. I think it was 2 fights back, and I think we hammered him his last fight. But uh, I like him overall, but his gas tank's questionable, and that's even in a 3 rounder. And you're cutting 50 pounds, like that's not gonna help your gas tank, and you're gonna be drained. And Mario Batista knows how to win fights, and he has a gas tank. Like Mario Batista's gonna be there. Um, so it's scary to me. I could see Vinicius Oliveira finding a strike, but I think his only way to win the fight is by knockout. Like he can't. He's not winning. He's not winning a decision. I think Mario Batista decision only money line at like -240 is like a fucking demon parlay piece. But I'll take Mario Batista. Uh, it's gonna be 5 rounds though of Vinicius Oliveira having a chance to knock him out. But Mario Batista's no slack on the feet, and he's gonna be able to get clinch exchanges. But Oliveira's gonna be big. They're the same height on here, but I think that he's at least an inch or two taller. Give me Mario Batista by decision probably. Or maybe a late finish because I don't think Vinicius Oliveira can go 5 rounds. So I think the line's at like 4.5 rounds. I'd probably rather, yeah, like under 4.5 rounds. I think is a good play, but I do think Mario Bautista could win a decision. Like it's not like it's super possible. So I don't know how I'm gonna play that. I like Bautista, but I would not be surprised if he got hurt because Vinicius Oliveira is a demon. But I'm not taking him here. How do you feel?
yeah, I mean, Vicious Oliveira is one of my favorite upcoming fighters here. Very good prospect, but then you look at Mario Batista, and as much as you hate him, you can't say that he doesn't fight smart and he comes out with good game plans. And I do expect Mario to have a clinch heavy approach and try and grapple, but I do see a problem. Oliveira is very big, and I could see him, denying these clinch attempts and takedown attempts of Batista based off his size. But that's where I think Batista's cardio could also come into play. I think technique wise, Batista's probably a little better, but I just think Oliveira is way more dangerous. And if he can make this a sloppy fight, that he definitely has the tools to put Batista out. But at this point in both of their careers, I think Batista fought the way better opponents. and I think Oliveira is just too fresh to beat someone like Bautista at this moment. So I'm gonna take Bautista. I'm gonna take him to win by round 4, 5, or decision. I know FanDuel offers that line
Oh
because I could
shit!
see
I
Bautista.
didn't think about that. Hold on, I'm pulling that up right now. I have FanDuel open. I forgot about that because that's pretty much like what I like. I think
Yeah,
more. Yeah.
literally.
I have it up right now. It's under all round betting, and it's called Mario Batista round 4-5 or decision plus 155. I do like that a lot.
Yeah, I do think Batista could definitely sleep him late in the fight as Oliveira is tired. Like you said, cutting all that weight and how big he is in this division. I could see Batista finishing him early if he gasses in his first 5 round main event fight, or I could see Batista just dominating and coasting to a decision. So
Yeah. So, what do you like for your pick for the podcast collab? Just me and you. I'm taking Horiguchi minus 3.5 minus 120. It's a two-legger, so
you know,
let's spice it up. Minus
yeah.
200 max.
Um. Uh, Fuck. You got Horiguchi. That's such a lock. Literally, literally free money. Um. Shit. I like Matsumoto, but I'm not pit point plus 225 or his points. No, I guess give me. Well, could we do? We can't do that Batista pick if it's because only DK offers spreads, ain't, and
Yeah.
FanDuel only offers that alternative method.
Uh, we can take Batista and an over. Batista and over 3.5, or Batista and over 2.5 is plus 120. It's the same thing because they'd have to win in four. You'd have to be over 2.5 to even get to 4-5 or decision.
Yeah, that is facts.
Batista to win and
Um,
over 2.5 is plus 120, but it'd probably be
um,
even better. Batista,
Give me Massamudo plus 5.5.
all right, bet.
That's minus 185. That's at plus 182 on DK.
Yeah, we'll run that. Matsumoto plus 5.5 and Kyoji Horiguchi minus 3.5. And oh, the featured pick, I almost forgot. This week's featured pick is Boston, Loyal MMA Gems sub. Uh, his pick is Vinicius Oliveira plus 9.5 minus 150 DraftKings.
Oh,
So that's his play. Uh, but and also you'd heard Hot Hand and what he almost took. So you could look at that Mario Batista over 2.5 rounds plus 120 on DraftKings if you want to another little plus money look. But you heard it. Matsumoto plus 5.5. Horiguchi minus 3.5 round plus 180 on DraftKings. Uh, yeah. Thanks for joining as usual. It was me and Hot Hand. This was nice, quick, less than an hour. We're like 48 minutes right now. Easy sailing. We'll see you guys at the cash counter. We like this card a lot, and hope to see you at the cash counter. Two profitable cards back to back to start the year. Let's go back to the fucking warehouse and get another W. Gems out.